Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the grand finals of the Monday Night Wings of Liberty Special Tournament. Welcome, one and all. It's been a fun event so far, experiencing everything, and for the first time here tonight, we are loading into Scrap Station. We're taking a bit of a trip back down memory lane to 2012, I should say. To 2012. It's been far too long, and we are loading into the first time to Scrap Station. In the top left-hand corner, we have the Finnish Zerg player, the blue Zerg. It is Mixu. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, rolling his main race, we have the red Zerg player, not Terran, from South Korea. It is Dark. Now, I say rolling his race. Dark, he did pick Zerg. Coming into this, he said Scrap Station, Zerg map. So, Dark, it looks like he's going to be switching race depending on the map itself. And this has an insanely short rush distance. If you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Dark is going to be the favorite player, but I mean, it's Wings of Liberty. It's a crazy map pool. Anything is possible. I'm here. I'm ready to experience the nonsense that is this finals. Let's go. We have a large main, by the way. So large main bases, short rush distance by air. We have some island base. Let's go. We have an island in the center, and of course a very direct path from base to base. We're touching tips here when it comes to how close these bases are from each other. It is insane. Despite that, hatch first. Hatch first by Mixu, hatch first by Dark. We are not going for early pool timings, and because of the overlords, they confirm this as well. Fun fact, there was actually a build, not in Wings of Liberty, there was a build in Heart of the Swarm, I want to say, maybe early Legacy, where you would actually, if you remember, Cats in RvZ, what he would do, it would be a similar situation. I think this happened on Habitation Station. I think it was Habitation Station, where Cats, he went for a fast Spore. He went for a Spore here in the main base, out of vision. The Overlord comes in for a Scout because of the short rush distance by ground. Sorry, by air. So the Overlord comes in for a Scout, Spore finishes, and then Cats, he rushes in with the Spore. He 12 pulls behind it, I believe, and he kills the Overlord, supply blocks his opponent, and then Lean Floods. It was a crazy Cats build back on Habitation Station, and I believe that Sue did that as well, and I think Sue did it in GSL. I think he gave that build to Sue, and Sue, he also won with it. In GSL at the time. Crazy build. But you can do stuff, you can do like crazy stuff like that when it comes to trying to catch out the first Overlord in RvZ. Of course, here on Wings of Liberty, you do require an Evo chamber for a Spore, so different kind of story. But for now, we are going for a hatch setup here. Fast bases, fast expansions. Mixu going for something a little bit more standard. Hatch first, yes, into all these gases. Oh my god. 3 gases on the way for Mixu. Are we rushing into a lair? Are we rushing into 2-base Muta? That'd be crazy. Okay, yeah, my attention. Gases are on the way. Prioritizes that gas mining. I mean, 2-base play here feels really risky just because of how indefensible these locations are, but sure, okay. Of course, we have to knock down these rocks to gain access to the other side of the map. This map actually reminds me of Arena. Do you remember Arena? Very similar, where very short rush distance by air. You'd have a very thin kind of entry point. I think the difference in Arena, if I remember correctly, is instead of rocks, it was like a 1-hex wall where you can wall off with a pylon. I think you can wall off with a pylon or wall off with a depot. Here, the entry point is much wider instead. And of course, rocks. And there it is, 2-base Muta. So 2-base Muta on the way from Mixu. Meanwhile, Dark is in the dark. He did rush into the faster third base, going for the Bane Nest, going to Ling Bane Aggression. This map is so quirky. We have like this little alcove here. I guess for drop play. To help defend that natural. I mean, there's a very narrow corridor leading into the natural as well. True. So you can make use of that high ground. Lair is finishing up. 4th gas guys are on the way. What did Dark see? He hasn't seen much. Oh! Tries to dip in with that Ling. And he will not scout the Lair. The Lair is at the natural. Not in the main. The Spire as well. Dark, he confirms the 2nd gas. But he still has only a piece of the puzzle here. Coming with another Ling. Going straight for the natural. And he will scout. He gets eyes on the gases, the Lair, and the spawning pool. Big moment here for Dark. He sees everything he needs to. And he's committing here to link main aggression. Remember, no bathing nest. No bathing nest for Mixu. Purely queens and a handful of links. Link speed is done, thankfully, for both players. Zaki's here to punish. Oh, he's here to punish. Oh, almost gets us around. Almost. Pulls away. Bathing's almost done. There we go. One bathing in the main base does complete. Oh, no! Oh, my God. No major connection. Does zone away. Bathing gets targeted down. Nice control here at Mixu. He's holding on. He's holding. But only for so long as both queens get surrounded. The queens go down. And Dark, he has done it. He is breaking through. There is a spine crawler in the main, though. Spine crawler does complete. Spine crawler the natural as well. Ooh, massive connections. Lings get completely shut down. And Dark, he has done it. He's broken the main. Lings are falling drones as well. Lair is done, but we can't make any mutas. It's not going to happen. GG gets called, and Dark, he will overwhelm. Dark takes game number 1. GG. Dark, he will take a lead in the series. Again, Mixu was being very greedy going into 2-base muta on a map where the natural is exposed. Remember, there's no ramp coming into the natural, so very difficult to defend on 2 bases. And Dark did completely take advantage of that. He pulled Mixu apart. It was a cheeky move out of Mixu, but again, he was very vulnerable as a result. And Dark took full advantage of that vulnerability. GG. GG well played. Dark will take a lead in the series, and now we are getting ready for game number 2. As a reminder, this is a full best of 5, and depending on the map, Dark did say that he might be switching races, depending on how large or how small the map is. We'll see if Dark does embrace either Terran or Protoss. We'll see. We shall see. Even though Dark has been playing a lot of Protoss in recent times, because Protoss is very different in Wings of Liberty, it might not be worth investing. It might not be worth playing it, as it is, yeah, just a very different race, very different dynamic. Playing that Protoss, we'll see. We shall see. So now getting into game 2. Getting into game number 2 here. It's going to be on Ohana. Okay. We're loading into Ohana. It means family. Let's go. I'm here for it. And the question becomes, does Dark play Terran or Protoss? And the answer is yes. Let's go. So again, as we mentioned, Dark, he is going to be picking races depending on the map. And here for game number 2, he has settled on Protoss. So game 1 ZVZ, game 2 ZVP, game 3 ZVT, potentially. He might play all 3. He might play all 3 races. As we are loading in. It's family time. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Ohana, we have the blue Zerg player from the land of Finland down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. It is Mixu. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss. It is Dark. Was that hard that had siege drops? Legacy. So it was the beginning of Legacy of the Void. If you're referring to Tankovacs was the idea that you could actually lift tanks sieged. You can lift and drop tanks, and they remain sieged, both lifted and both within and outside of the medevac. It was crazy. So Tankovacs were a thing in Legacy of the Void. That was patched out of Legacy, but it was there for, I want to say, the first year, the first year of Legacy of the Void, if that's what you're referring to. Which was crazy. Tankovacs were disgusting. Yeah. So that was Legacy. That was Legacy. Wings of Liberty is in a way the opposite. In Wings of Liberty, you had to research Siege. Like, Siege mode was a research that you had to invest into. Tanks, as they spawn out of factories, do not know how to siege up. So it's the polar opposite here for Wings of Liberty. They had to learn how to siege. For now, though, Dark coming in with the pylon block will delay the expansion, does force the pull first. Pull first out of Mixu. Back at home, we have our Forge Fast Expand. We did have a cannon rush previously with in the Shameless series, but we should not be seeing one here. Should not be seeing cannon rush, just straight up Nexus into a wall on the high ground. Let's go. But it's crazy to think that, I mean, StarCraft has been around for over 10 years, well over 10 years at this point, 15 years even, coming up on. And due to all the, even without the expansions, but because of all the expansions, because of all the patches, there are so many different versions and like variations of SC2, like each playing like so differently as well. It's crazy how the game has evolved over time. Crazy. As Mixu does move out. Now takes his expansion, delayed natural here out of Mixu. No early gases, no early link speed. And again, welcome one and all to Ohana, as it is a very defendable map here. Your natural has a very narrow ramp coming into the natural itself, so very defendable on 2 bases. You can also fully wall off this area, knock down these rocks, and gain access to your 3rd base, which likewise also you can defend from your main, and also has a choke point coming into it. So there's no, unfortunately there's no high ground here, but regardless, your 3 base setup is quite secure. The 4th base is more exposed, whether you expand towards your opponent on the right, or away from yourself on the left. I would imagine that you want to be taking the right-hand base. It is a little bit more secure with all these ramps, with all the high ground, but still very isolated base here, and it does force you to spread out. Regardless, I could definitely see Dark playing out into the mid game here, at least getting into a 3-base economy, I would imagine. Likewise, Mixu double expanding. Again, his natural is late, so he has to make up for that. Does take a faster 3rd. And Mixu does keep up with the probe. Is aware. We'll chase it down. We'll chase it down. Behind this is going to be a Robo follow-up here out of Dark. Okay. Get into his Robo. So far, so good. And with this Robo opener, I would imagine working towards Colossus production into the Bay, into Colossus. Would make the most sense. And as was stated earlier, Colossus and Wings of Liberty do a lot more damage. They do a lot more damage here. They're insane. They don't care whether you're light or armored. They just do a flat amount of damage instead. Which is why, I mean, Colossus-based compositions were a lot more common back in the day. A lot more common. Ooh, initially, though, Immortal production from Dark. Let's go. Immortals are building up. Back at home, Mixu still droning. Going into his Evo chamber. Into melee, I would imagine. Into those upgrades. There we go. Plus 1 melee on the way. This tells us that Mixu, this is very, there we go, range. I was going to say, if he goes into melee, this is really modern, which I don't think works as well, going into Ling Hydra, but range tells us that this may be, yeah, Roach base instead. There we go. It's going to be Roach Hydra. A much more classic composition. Dark building on more gateways. Getting a 2nd Immortal, 3rd Immortal's on the way. No Bay, no Colossus, by the way. Just pure Immortal. And we're setting it for a 2-base all-in. We have a 5-gate setup here. Did I say 5? Getting up to 6. Can we get up to 8? We're almost there. There's 7. Una más. One more. As 2 bases can facilitate 8 gates, just 8-gate reinforcements. And we're setting up for a Soul Train. Massive Mortal Sentry into a 2-base all-in. We have no setup outside, not yet. Lings are spread out. Roaches are amassing for Mixu. And we'll see if he can survive. As the War Prism's on the way. And here comes the push, here comes the all-in. Imagine knocking down the Forge. Or just elevatoring over. There we go, more sentries. MC, is that you? Oh my god. Dark is committing. There's the 8th gateway. That should be the final gateway here for Dark. And now just purely reinforcing with just mass gateway units. There we go. Does hop over the wall. Overseer Scout coming in. Mixu, he does cut worker production here at 2.5 bases. Under a 3 base economy. And here comes the all-in. At the same time, Mixu is getting ready for a counterattack. Now, remember this. Dark has no recall. There is no recall for Dark. Likewise, there is a cannon at least. There are going to be defensive warp-ins. Dark pushes as he moves out. Mixu moves in. Does move in. Surrounds Zealot. There's the defensive warp-in. Mixu catching a Zealot. Gee, that's so many sentries. That's so many sentries. And we spoke about this earlier. Ravagers do not exist. Ravagers, they are not a thing. So force fields, they completely shut down the Zerg army. That's kind of the big power here behind this kind of soul train. Is there are no biles. But there is a concave. Oh. Mixu goes for the dive. So far. Leads they come in for the surround. And so many roaches, they just force field it out. They do nothing. Oh my god. Yeah, they just get locked out of the fights. So far, well played here by Dark. He's pushing in. And once again, it's on Dark to try to cut the army in half. Well, a little bit premature, though. Does force field, does buy time. Getting extra warp-ins. Catching out more lings. As Mixu's roach army is getting larger. Building up more roaches. I want to say that the longer this goes on, the better it is going to be for Mixu. But it still comes down to the engage. Mixu with scouts looks for a 3rd base. Dark peeling up, dropping into the main. Use some force fields. He has to be careful though. Oh no, he can no shot. He force fields the ramp, and I mean, what do we do? We're locked out. Mixu, he will lose the expansion. This main base, it's gone. It's gone at this point. Dark, all he has to do is just make sure that he just force fields that ramp, and that's just a dead base. That's just a dead expansion. Mixu, he can't do anything. He's going for a counterattack. Trying to come in from behind. Surrounding the main army. Oh, decent force fields. Yeah, roaches are locked out. Despite that, here comes the surround. Dark has to pull away. Likewise still does force field. But he gets surrounded. He gets caught out. The immortal count is going to be completely reset. The prism is not there to support. And Mixu, he's going for the base trade. He should move out. I would imagine he's going for the base trade here. No, never mind. He turns back around. Again, Mixu, he will lose the main. But he resets the immortal count. Mixu is still in this. Again, there's still no way to get into the main. I guess it's not happening. As the expansion is going to fall. Spawning pool. Evo chamber. Mixu, now he decides to move out. Remember, there's no recall. There's no recall back home. But we can see Dark amassing up more sentries, more force fields. Pushing up this ramp is not going to be easy. I mean, same setup here. All he needs is a couple of force fields, and these roaches, they will do nothing. Like, force fields are just so much stronger here in Wings of Liberty. Oh, he gets in. Does get in. Dark has to get the hell out of here. Ah, but he catches all these roaches. Oh, the burrow! He saves the roaches. Rocks are being knocked down. Dark, does he notice in time? Does he notice? He does. He is aware. Cannons provide detection. Oh, he's coming in. He's sneaking in, Pappy. Let's go. There's the Unburrow. Yeah, dives on the army, and Dark, he will lose everything here. He will lose everything. Tries to rotate down. And Mixu, despite being stuck on 2 bases here, I mean, he still has a decent economy. He has a large army. Mixu, he can still pull this off. Dark, what's the plan? Does he expand? Does he get a 3rd? As he has to rebuild his immortal count back up to 3. Not bad. Oh. Does build up those immortals. Mixu moving forward. Now, Mixu, he cannot break this. He cannot break this location, which is why I'm curious to see if Dark expands. Mixu is retaking his main. Does Dark attempt to expand? Mixu going into Infestors. And there it is. There's that probe. Why did Dark race switch? If you've been watching StarCraft recently, you know that Dark has been playing a lot of Protoss for the past couple of weeks. He has been competing in pro play and in big events as Protoss. Specifically against Zerg, though. Bear that in mind. Dark, he doesn't play Protoss against Terran. He plays Protoss against Zerg. So he has been race switching very often as of late. It's very similar to like Raynor and Clem and Eva and some of the others. Just avoiding that mirror matchup. Ooh, looking at the roaches, very nice catch. There is an observer, and the roaches are so slow. Oh my god, they can't escape. They're trying. Again, as a reminder, tunneling claw roaches are far slower than in current modern StarCraft. So trying to burrow away is brutal. Meanwhile, Mixu re-expanding. His economy is still in the gutter. RvZ doesn't. The pickup range, yes. The pickup range was increased in Legacy. So here it is reduced. That is true. So it is a more difficult, not impossible, but more difficult to, you know, juggle units and to pick up micro in Legacy, in Wings of Liberty. Is something to bear in mind. As Mixu is about to max out. But again, the reality is, doesn't matter how large this Roach army is. I mean, first things first, it is an inefficient army. But likewise, because of the power of these force fields, Mixu cannot really make use of the entire force all at once. As Dark, he should be able to slice it up and fight like a third at a time or half at a time. Oh, here come the Fuggles though. Guys are coming in. Dark, he's got to back off. Doesn't want to get caught out. He spots the army. He's going to try to escape. Can he blink in time? He can. He saves some Stalkers, but not all. The rest get locked down. Nice catch here by Mixu. Oh, jeez, that's a lot of Immortals. Jesus. There's a lot of Immortals here for Dark. I mean, again, without Disruptors, you have to rely more heavily on Immortals instead. It's a very heavy Immortal army. As Mixu is being active, catches the Observer. Observer goes down. Stargate's on the way for Dark, building up towards Skytos, which does make sense. As he's building up towards Skytos, we have the Hive and a Spire on the way for Mixu. Mixu's economy is still lackluster. He still doesn't really have the best economy to work with here, but he's maxed. Is maxed out. Dark taking a fourth. And again, because of the natural at least, yeah, Dark, he can actually defend here. Should be able to hold on. Has yet to reposition though. Observer moves in. The Observer, the size of the Observer is still catching me off guard. It's so small. It's tiny now. Oh, he gets one. He gets one. Gets two. Oh my god. Almost to Infestors. Nice catch here out of Dark. Catching out the army. Makes you have to be very careful here. Greater Spires on the way. Fleet Beacon for Dark. Into the Mothership. Into Carrier. Could go Void Ray, true. As Mixu is going to try to waddle in towards that natural, but there are cannons in position. There is detection. Oh, God, yeah. Again, the slow crawl of the roaches. They cannot get in. Storm's gonna be popping up. Here come the Infestitarian. But they're gonna get shut down. They do not morph in time. Likewise, Stalker counterattack here across the map, catching out the Queens. And Mixu's being pulled apart. He's racing back home. Queens are falling. Drones as well. I mean, Mixu doesn't really have much of an economy to begin with. Going for another warp in. As I'll say, bust into the bases here. We have Zealots at the 4th, at the 3rd, and in the natural. They're being distracted though. They're being cleaned up. And as these Zealots are distracting, here comes the mothership. The mothership is soon to arrive. Oh, he kills the 4th base as well. Ay, ay, ay. Now, thankfully, Mixu here had a 5th. More Zealots warp in. More drones going down. And Darky pushes right down mid. Corruptors are revealed. And he can't fight this head on, but he has to respect those infestors. Uh-oh. Does have to respect them. The Dark does go for the Neural. Neural's part of the army. The Storms, they blanket everything, though. The infestors go down. The Infestitarian as well. They do not complete. One Infestitarian pops out. Dark, he does take the greater fight, but here come the Broodlords. And that's the answer to the problem of Dark. Of this death wolf of an army. Is rushing into Broods. Here we go. And Dark, he's not ready. He's not ready for Broodlords. Fun fact, we actually casted a very similar game to this, like last week. Shin versus Dark. Shin versus Dark on Erahome. We casted them face off. And Dark, he had also gone into Charger Archon Storm Immortal. And Shin rocked up with just barely Broodlords in time, and he won the game. He won the game with Broodlords. So Mixu doing his best Shin impression. Let's go. The deja vu is real. Broodlords have arrived, and more infestors building up. And again, Dark, he's just not ready for Broodlords. He was hyper fixated on a ground army. Moves in, does get 3 cannons. And again, Dark, like, how can he engage? Mothership does help. Now, how does Dark deal with this? Show us the Vortex. Fappy, is it Vortex time? Do we Vortex? Do we come in with the Archon toilet? Maybe. Maybe that's the answer. Dark, he's ready. He's got the energy. Mate, no shot. Let's go. Can he land it? Up. Likewise. Storms, they shut down the Infestitarians. Mothership coming in from behind. Do we land it? Oh, let's go! He got the Vortex. The Archons are coming in. He dives up with the Archons. Oh, he tries to at least. The Archons are too far behind. They're a little bit too far behind. Trying to move forward. Bungle, they lock him down. And there we go. The rest of the army. He gets in. Oh my god. He gets in. The battle. Oh my god. The Archon toilet. He kills everything. The more GG. Dark with the Vortex. Let's go. Oh my god. GG, well played. He lands it on the Broodlords, dives in with everything he can. And again, for those that are curious, the quote-unquote Archon toilet. A Vortex, it sucks everything in. Friendly units and enemy units alike. What happens though when they all pop out? I mean, if you know, Archons, they do splash damage. So everything pops out clumped up. The Archons, they get their first shot off, and the Archons, they kill everything as it pops out of the Vortex. So that is kind of like the insta-kill move. Is you Vortex, you dive in with your Archons, and then when everything pops out, everything dies. Everything dies then and there. GG. Whew. And Dark, he takes a 2-0 lead. We got the Vortex. That's all we wanted out of today's broadcast. There's a reason why Vortex is no longer in the game, by the way. It's broken. It's completely broken. Let's go. Imagine that happened after the armies postured around each other for 10 minutes with only drones workers died. That's Wings Libby PvZ. Yep, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It all comes down to one vortex. That's all it comes down to. And here we go. We're now getting into game 3. We're going to be loading into Daybreak. And Dark, he is playing every single race. Game 1, Zerg. Game 2, Protoss. Game 3, we experience his Terran. As spawning in the top side of Daybreak, we have the Finnish Zerg player down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. I mean, hey, he had a good chance in that last game. He had some good opportunities for himself, especially with those Broodlords. But barely, it wasn't quite able to pull it off. And here we go. It is Mixu. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent again playing all 3 races here. We have the South Korean and now Terran player. It is Dark. He wins with Zerg. He wins with Protoss. What do you have for us here with Terran? Let's go. Squirtle versus MVP. Let's go. Archon toileting a 200 supply battle cruiser army. Oh my god. I remember Squirtle. Good times, good times. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. I mean, it leads to explosive moments. It does lead to it. True, true. But at the same time, likewise, there's a reason why it's no longer in the game. It would have been nice if we had it in some form. I guess like the replacement for the Vortex is the slow zone, right? The slow zone that the Mothership has now. Which is less exciting, but probably more balanced. Because the Vortex is that, like, the problem with the Vortex is that there's no counterplay. That's the biggest problem, is that you throw it down and what do you do? Like what can you can't, like, it just instantly sucks everything in, right? Like the counterplay is obviously like trying to keep your army pre-split, make sure you don't stack, avoid the Mothership at all costs, potentially try to come in with like a crazy neural from behind on the Mothership or something. Like you have to do like backflips and like you have to do all these gymnastics to like to try to avoid that kind of game state or that kind of move, right? So in the end we just got rid of it, like in SE2. But I appreciate seeing it. Like, it's, yeah, I appreciate seeing it at least here for a nostalgia trip. As Mixu, he's going hatch before pool. As was stated earlier, the reason why you can be this greedy going gasless, essentially, there's the pool into gas, is because no Reaper. There is no Reaper. Well, technically, there is a Reaper in the game, but the Reaper requires the tech lab, so it's just not worth it. It's just not worth opening Reaper. It's just so out of the way when it comes to your production. So with that, the Terran player has no way to really harass outside of proxying, of course. You can proxy 2 racks, proxy 3 racks, but alas, there is no proxy. Dark, he's hunting down the Overlord. He's looking for it, and he barely does miss the Overlord here as it's hidden on the left-hand side. Barely does miss it. Behind this, going for his 1-1 setup. Dark gets all top 3 race prizes. That's a good question. I don't know how that works. I would imagine not. I would imagine, to be fair, like I would imagine they count Dark as a Zerg player, so they're able to spread the love. I think that I think that goes against the spirit of the bonus prize for the races. I think that goes against it. So I would imagine Dark, he's going to be categorized as Zerg, despite playing all 3 races, of course. I'm sure Stegosaurus will have like a better answer, but I would assume that that's the case. I would assume. One of the most iconic S2 games of all time, for sure, for sure. For sure. No combat jokes to Reaper either. True, true. As the first Hellion does get across the map, rends the mineral line. I think you know what the Vortex reminds me of? Because we've been casting a lot of StarCraft Evolution as of late. If you missed out on it, I recommend the VODs. Like, StarCraft Evolution has been a lot of fun. And in StarCraft Evolution, the spells are crazy good. As we bust into minimum, drones are getting roasted. Oh no! Oh my god, drones are getting roasted. Getting 4 drones already. The larva lines up. Thankfully, do morph into eggs. But Darky's punishing Mixu. Mixu delayed link speed. No link speed, no links to defend. Drones are getting roasted one after the other. 6, 7 drone kills already. Oh no. And Darky's not done. He's merely only begun here. Punishing the greed. Oh god. As this is going to be 11 drones falling, and the Hellions, they survive. They get out behind this spores. Sorry, we have Banshees on the way. As a reminder, you cannot actually make a spore without an Evo chamber. Banshee's coming out next, and I'm concerned here that Darky's going to kill Mixu just by harassing. Oh no, not like this. Link speed is going to finish, thankfully. Roaches are amassing as well, so we have a defense for these Hellions, but I am very concerned for the Banshees. Very concerned. Ooh, as we get 3 more drones line up. Hellions pull away. Banshee into the main, and there's no spore. There's no spore in position. There's no lair either. Is this it? Thankfully, there's no cloak. Cloak is still halfway done. But, yeah, Mixu here is trying to keep up here. Behind this, third CC's on the way. There's that lair, now morphing in. Remember, no spores. And cloak is almost done. We're getting there. Darky threatens another dive. Cloak finishing up in a couple of seconds. The Banshees are together. They can one-shot drones. Evo chamber's on the way. Mixu, he needs that Evo chamber. Desperately does need it. It's about to finish. Banshees, they hit the main, and drones are going down. The Evo chamber's not done. The Evo chamber's not done. Lair isn't done either. There's no detection. Queens are getting shut down as well. It's 1 queen. Going for the second. I mean, again, Darky can just keep going. There's nothing to stop him. There's nothing here. And just 1 shooting drones. GG gets called. There is no answer. And Dark, he will take the series at 3-0. As he as he rallies in towards the end. And Dark, he will take the series 3-0, becoming our Wings of Liberty Picosaur Monday champion. GG, well played. The Monday Night Wings of Liberty champion, I should say. Congratulations. Again, we saw a treat here. Dark playing every single race in the finals, winning with every race as well. As a reminder, if I didn't make it clear, there were no spores because there was no Evo chamber. Back in Wings of Liberty, you actually, the spore had a prerequisite. Did require you to have an Evo chamber first before you can actually make a spore. So because of that, there was no detection, there was no spore. The Evo chamber was finishing up a second too late, and with that, Dark did pull it apart. Likewise, because of the delayed gas opener of Mixu without link speed, the Hellions completely pulled Mixu apart. Link speed was delayed because of the greedy build of Mixu, because he had gone into a double hatch before pool, before gas geyser as well. So Dark just completely punishing Mixu's build completely, and with that, snowballing out of control. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Dark. My condolences to Mixu, but a good result nonetheless to make it to the finals. So very impressive run here out of Mixu to make it as far as he did. As Mixu, he took down Nickrat, took down Creature, took down Geralt to make it to those grand finals. Was not an easy road for Mixu whatsoever. So GG. GG, well played. Dark to take in the end. And something that I wanted to speak about, and we didn't really get into it just because of the harassment from Dark, is that we have been casting a lot of StarCraft Evolution as of late. We've been casting a lot of StarCraft Evolution, and something that I noticed here in this series, in these games, is that there were certain things, certain similarities. What I'm referring to here is in StarCraft Evolution, or in Brood War, the spells are so much more impactful. Like, mate, when a plague goes down, when a dark swarm goes down, when a lockdown occurs, even when storms get placed, it's crazy. Like they're so much stronger, whether it's in Brood War, whether it's in StarCraft Evolution, they're so much more impactful as well, and they make for like these really like exciting moments where you pop off, you're like, it's crazy. He lands the Plague, he lands the Dark Swarm, and you get like these really explosive fights. In SE2, I got that vibe with the Vortex. Likewise, there was another moment as well. The Fungals, right? The Fungals as well. Mate, you land a Fungal, that's it. It's over. Like your army gets locked in place, and it ends then and there. You could argue that because of that, I mean, it means that there's, like, as we mentioned at the time, less counterplay, right? There's a little bit less counterplay. In Brood War, the issue is solved because units are cheaper, and you're able to reproduce a lot faster in Brood War. So even if you take a lost fight, you can actually still sustain yourself even with a lower economy and lower base counts. Like, you're able to keep the game going, keep the fights going as well. Like, that's the big thing with StarCraft Evolution is fights. They happen more frequently, they happen more often, and they keep going and they don't stop. Like, whereas in SE2, it's a little bit more one and done. And in SE2, the spells they have been lessened. Coming into Legacy of the Void, of course. Like, Fungal slows the army instead of locking it down. Storms, like, you can at times weather the storm, of course. It's, in a way, it's better because there's more like counterplay, true, but it's also very different. It's very different. And yeah, I don't know, it's just something that I did notice coming into at least Wings of Liberty here, and seeing some of those big moments as well. GG well played. It reminds me, it wasn't just the Vortex or the Fungal, but the force field. Like, the force fields, we were taking note of it in the Geralt series because there's no Ravagers, because again, there's no counterplay. When you see those force fields, it's like it's more impressive and it's more decisive. It's very different. The vibe is very different. It's very different, despite it being the same game. So interesting. Not saying it's better. I do think that the version that we have of Legacy is more balanced and is probably better competitively. But like viewership wise, or like watching like these moments, I think can be a little bit more hype because of that. Or like example, like when it comes to like the force field, I was talking about Geralt, but even the Dark series, when he got into the main and when he force fielded the ramp, it's like, damn, well, that's it. Like, that's just a dead main. It's much more unforgiving. Crazy. Much more unforgiving. With that, GG, well played. Dark does take the win. And yeah, with that, we're done for the morning. We are wrapping up here for the morning. Again, it was a fun nostalgia trip going back to Wings of Liberty. It was definitely a little fun. And if you want some more StarCraft, we have you covered coming into the rest of the evening. Again, our schedule is bam here before you. We have 2 casts a day every single day. Our next cast is going to be at 6 p.m. KST. It's in 3.5 hours. I'm a little bit concerned with how close some of these broadcasts are to each other, but it is going to be in 6.5 hours. We're going to be live with the OSC Season 12 Championship. I'm working off of very little sleep, and I most likely won't be able to nap beforehand, so I'm probably going to get some coffee and going to try to weather through the storm here. OSC Season 12 Championship, it's going to be in, again, 3 hours? Oh boy. It's not long at all. Oh good. 3.5 hours. So in 3.5 hours time, we're going to be back. We're going to be live with some more StarCraft. Tomorrow we have Lima League. The day after that we have the Enki Pro Series. We have KSL, the Podcast, Amantes. We have Kung Fu Cup Warcraft 3 edition, by the way, with Warcraft 3 Evolution. We have Code for Giants Cup, MSO, SEL, and STC. Plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft coming up ahead of us. Again, this was a one-off event. It's up to the organizers of the tournament if they want to do this again, and it was fun. It was refreshing. Are we gonna see more of this? Maybe like, I don't know, maybe once a month sort of thing. Maybe we'll have like our regular weeklies, and then bam, pop up with like a Wings of Liberty tournament every now and then. What comes next? Maybe Heart of the Swarm. Heart of the Swarm was definitely like my game. I watched Wings of Liberty from afar, that is true, but I didn't really watch much esports. Like I watched like games casted by like HD or Husky, but I never watched anything live. I didn't have the bandwidth for it, to be fair. I didn't have the internet to watch anything live. It wasn't until Heart of the Swarm, it wasn't until Total Biscuit, he formed Axiom, where I had a reason to. I was like, oh, yo, Axiom, let's go. I became a big fan of Axiom, big fan of TB, and I would, of course, watch them religiously when it came to their matches, like in GSTL or in DreamHacks or in WCS Premier League, even in Acer Team Story Cup and all those events back in the day, Zotac Cups, you know, your weeklies, Go for StarCraft, all that stuff. So yeah, would we see Heart of the Swarm again? Maybe. It comes down to Stegosaurus, comes down to Pig, comes down to Artosis. The nostalgia trip is real. Maybe. We'll see. We shall see. Get some well-deserved rest. I'll get some food. That's what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get some food. Again, we're gonna be back in 3 hours time. I'll rest up as best as I can for both streams. Gracias, papi, gracias. Este psych. Gran torneo, me encantó. Sí, papi, sí. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for support. Again, if you see something that you like here, we have plenty of content on the channel, plenty of StarCraft, plenty of casting. We cast more than any other channel out there. We have the quantity, pal. We have all the quantity. We have all the matches, all the games, all the StarCraft. We're back in 3 hours time. Otherwise, thanks for watching. You can follow us on all the social medias. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things Cranky Ducklings. We do post it whenever we go live, so you can follow us if you wish. Otherwise, we'll see you guys either in 3 hours or tomorrow. Again, Alima League is going to be tomorrow, so plenty of content. Depending on your time zone, we got something for you then and there. If you cannot watch live, check out YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel because we have plenty of content on YouTube as well. Check us out there. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll see you later tonight, tomorrow, whenever we see you. See you next time. Ciao, papi, ciao. See you next time. Hasta luego. Hasta luego, papi.